Hi guys, once again, good evening. Welcome to this second part of our session. On the previous part of tonight, well, the first part of tonight actually, you already finished Unit 6. So let's say that officially we're going to start Unit 7. Let me see the chat for a moment. Hmm. Okay, thank you very much. I'm gonna write that down because I forget. It's because I have a bad memory, not because I'm a bad person. Okay, something that was sent directly to my chat. As I was telling you guys, we officially begin Unit 7, and ideally, you should have already started working on Units 5 and 6 from the model, from Virtual Campus. I hope that you have already started having a look at it. Tonight, we will start working on pages 66 and 67. As usual, we will have a look at the very general aspects of what the unit is going to offer. Tonight, we also start having a look at the grammatical component that it is actually, I dare to say, simple and is not new for you. So I assume maybe that it is going to be a kind of light content to cover. Unit 7 says must see. In terms of grammar, as I told you, which we are going to start studying tonight, we will be talking about ed and ing adjectives. Eventually on the unit, we will cover also this grammatical component called passive voice. In terms of vocabulary, we will be talking about entertainment and television, also extreme adjectives. Yesterday, we were talking about adverbs. This unit is more related to adjectives. The task will be talk about a show you love or hate, and eventually the language life will be about a review, making a social arrangement. That will be the idea of this unit. Of course, we will be covering the first 2 pages. But before we actually start, guys, as usual, I'm gonna take attendance, okay? I was waiting like 1 more minute, just in case some of you guys were having issues trying to take part of the session, but it's already 8:05. Today is the 30th. Gerson Arismendi.
Hi, teacher.
There you are. Hello. Let me turn it up. Keiner Baez.
I'm here, teacher.
Okay. Jean-Claude Barrera.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Jessit Calderon.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Natalia Camargo.
Present, teacher.
Okay. William Andres Castrillon.
Hi, teacher, present.
Hi. Andres Camilo Correa already told me his situation. There he is. Andres Corredor. Not here for the moment. Silvia Natalia Cuellar.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Johan Alberto Duque.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Elkin Darío Fernández. Not here for the moment. Julián Jesús Figueroa.
I'm here, teacher. Present.
Okay. Ginette Fontecha. Well, Ginette is not here for the moment. Carlos is traveling. Mabel y Juliet Gamboa.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Cindy Juliana García. Let me see the chat. Elkin is in the chat. Welcome, welcome, Elkin. Well, for the moment, Cindy is not here. I'm gonna just Elkins and let's wait for Cindy. Hopefully she gets to the session. Jose Alberto Gomez.
Here, teacher, Jose Alejandro.
Ay, my eyes, Jose Alejandro. Yeah, I'm sorry. Oh my God. Lizeth Carolina Tarazona.
Present teacher.
Okay. And Brian Camilo Vargas.
Present teacher.
Okay. Very good, guys. So just to confirm, Andres Corredor is not here, as well as Jeanette Valentina and Cindy Juliana. That would be it. Sorry. As I was telling you guys at the beginning, it feels slower than the usual, but whatever. We're going to start unit 7. And in this first part, the vocabulary is related to entertainment and television. This first part that we have in here, I'm gonna show it to you on a different way, but it's pretty much the input that is presented on our book. We're going to start with a kind of, let's say, survey. Okay, I'm gonna send this link to you that is gonna take us to this Mentimeter. Remember, we're talking about the vocabulary that we have on page 66. The first question one of the questions, that we have in there says, what are your favorite TV and radio programs? Here we have like a lot of possibilities. Cookery programs, sports programs, nature programs, murder mysteries, documentaries, travel news, weather forecast, talent shows, reality shows, soap operas, drama series, and quiz shows. We're gonna keep it like anonymous, So when you get to the link that I just sent to the chat, you have all the possibilities that were presented there. So the idea is that you choose as many as you want. If you like all of them, then you choose all of them. If you like only one, only one. And then when you have already, let's say, chosen those programs that you like, you click on submit, okay? That would be the idea of this first part. For the moment, you don't have to write down anything, only voting, okay? 3 answers already. Anyway, I'm gonna give you like 1 minute just in case, and so that some people just arrived to make sure that hopefully most of you send your answers. Favorite TV and radio programs. You might be thinking, but I don't listen to radio programs in very general aspects. That would be it. 30 seconds. Let's see. "13 answers out of like 16, maybe, because there are some repeated accounts. Let's see, for the moment, we have documentaries. Probably we want to create a kind of podium, on first place. There is a tie between sport programs and drama series. And the third place will be for murder mysteries, sorry. And without any vote, let's put it like that, would be the one related to weather forecast. Okay, guys, interesting. Of course, we are talking about your opinion and your perception. At the same time, why not? We know that there are more like types of radios and TV programs. And that is going to be the next question that I'm gonna present to you. Which other types of programs would you add? In this case, or maybe just to clarify, we are not talking about the name of the TV shows. We're talking about the types. Let me go back to the previous slide. Notice that we have different here categories: sports, travel, weather. Notice that on this slide, we didn't have like any name, you know, just like the type in general. So the idea on this part is to write also types, different from the ones that we already saw on slide 1. If you guys still have the tab open, you click on go to slide, and then here we have 2 boxes. If you only remember or you are thinking about only one type, okay, you write down one type and click on submit. If you remember 2, that would be great. But if you only remember 1, well, what can we do? Okay. Guys, is clear this question?
Yes, teacher.
Yes, teacher.
Okay, very good. In this case, because maybe you need to brainstorm a little bit more, I'm gonna give you 2 minutes to think about other types of TV programs, sorry, and maybe radio programs. Let's see. Okay, guys, for the moment there are 11 answers, but I think that we can uncover to see those other types of programs, TV programs and radio. Okay, there are many possibilities: learning, crime. Well, crime, I guess it was also on the previous list. Sci-fi, comedy drama, DIY program, music programs, gossips, new programs like okay. In this case, it was only the name: cartoons, history, talk shows, miniseries, horror, romantic, science fiction that was also related to the other one. I think that I didn't miss any of them. Mm-hmm. I guess I already said romantic. Okay. Well, I guess that 11 answers, it's kind of good, although there are more of you guys, but that's okay. Guys, thank you very much for sending your ideas. Well, talking about TV shows and programs, we can say somehow that can be also like a sensitive topic. I'm gonna share with you now the next activity, and we're gonna divide it into, let's say, 3 different parts. The first part is going to be individually. I'm going to read the instruction for you. It says first, read the statements individually. Which types of TV and radio programs do they describe in your country? For example, there are too many programs like this. For example, we have phone-ins. That means that people call, you know, that is the idea in this case. Maybe phone-ins are more common in terms of radio programs. So in this first statement, the idea, guys, is you think of programs that are like way too repeated. That would be like the main intention. Remember, we'll be talking about TV or talking about radio. The second, there aren't enough programs like this. We consider, or programs that you may consider actually should be more present. We don't have programs like this that you consider they are also necessary. Natalia, yes.
Teacher, sorry, what is phone is?
Phone-ins, for example, when there is a radio show, it is more related to that one, and people call, you know, to say something, or probably there is a contest, or maybe they call to offer a service. That is the idea of phone-ins, when the, let's say, the person calls that show.
Mm.
In radio, they are very common, right?
Ah, okay, yes,
Hmm.
in radio.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think that in television they are that common. Well, I don't know. I don't really watch too much. I guess that that's the same for most of us. But in radio, that is like a very common thing that people call to participate. Usually, you know, when there is a contest or in December, or like this radio station is going to pay your bill, you know, so people keep calling and things like that. We don't have program like this, I already said. And then you guys also are going to, let's say, reflect a little bit on this final question. How would you like to change TV and or radio in your country? Probably some of you consider, okay, radio is fine. We have to change TV, or actually we have to change both things. For this first part, guys, as I told you, it's going to be individually. I'm gonna give you 5 minutes. What's like my intention? On these 5 minutes that we all will be quiet, you're going to, let's say, write down your answers. I invite you guys to take some notes. Probably some of you, because you know that you have a really good level, or because you have a really good memory, you say, okay, I remember, I don't really need to write down. Okay, of course, that's your decision, and I can't force you to do anything. But it would be good for you to write down some ideas. Remember, for the moment, it's going to be like an individual exercise. Too many programs. There aren't enough programs. Programs that we don't have, and from your perspective, how you would like to change TV and radio in your country. Guys, do you have any questions about the first part of the instructions?
No, teacher.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm gonna give you 5 minutes for you to brainstorm, to write down some ideas, and then we would move to the collaborative part. 5 minutes starting now. Okay, guys, we have already covered the first part, which was the individual part, which was the think, We're going to move now to the second part here, of this diagram that says pair. You will be sent to breakout rooms, guys, and the idea is that all of you participate and all of you share, the answers of your questions, especially paying attention to the fourth one. You will have 15 minutes on each group, guys. So it is not only about sharing your ideas. When we get back, I am going to choose one of you guys to be the speaker of the group. And what you're going to do is to summarize the answers of your questions. And I clarify, or let's say, insist a lot when I say summarize. It is not, for example, in the first question, Andres said da, 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 da. In the second question, Andres said, no, the idea that you guys put the information together and you make a summary, Probably some ideas are very similar. Of course, in some cases, the ideas will be different, but it is not, like just repeating the information that everybody said. It's about making a summary. And as I was telling you, I want you to pay special attention to the question, let's say number 4, because it's the fourth question here. How would you like to change TV and radio in your country? So once you share your ideas, you get a summary of the information, and then I'm gonna choose from every group one speaker, and that person is going to be in charge of sharing, the information collected. So everybody must be ready. Guys, do you have any questions about the instructions? No questions? Okay,
No, teacher.
thank you very much. Let's start. When most of you are already in your groups, I will send you the first message letting you know how much time you have. Let's go. Well, I know that Julian is already in group number 3. Andres Felipe. Do you have any problem getting to your group? There you go. Hi
Now
guys,
the
good evening.
yes, teacher.
Tell me.
Ah,
Review.
¿Alguien llamó a la profesora? No.
Me llamaron, me llamaron.
Yes,
Ajá, okay, tell me.
I was asking to Gerson and Keiner about what is the meaning of phonics. It's like I think that is like a podcast, but I never heard about this type of programs.
What's the meaning of phone-ins?
Conscience, yes. What is the meaning?
I was telling that it is when someone is calling to the program. It is more common on radio shows,
Radio or with a
Like
program
joke shows?
not necessarily joke shows.
for example in the radio when the radio have a concurso
A contest?
a contest
Mhm,
and they want to you participate and so they
mhm,
call you and say okay next you want to participate in the rifa no sé
mhm.
cómo se dice una rifa.
You know, yeah,
Okay.
like the type of format could be anything, you know, could be a contest, or maybe if some of you, well, it doesn't matter where you are from, like, okay, we are going to call this person and you have to like to answer Tropicana la más bacana, something like that, you know? The thing is that, yeah, there is a phone call included, or some people call to share their stories. I don't know, you have heard like the Adoloridos or something like that?
Yes.
Like that is a phone show, like there is a phone included. The type of contest or situation could change, but that's what it is about. Someone calling. Mhm.
I think here in Colombia there are phone-ins radio that in the night people call the radio and tell the story about ghosts.
Yeah, that is a phone in show. For example, in this case, talking about ghosts. Absolutely. That's the example. Okay.
Thank you, teacher.
Welcome, guys. See you in a moment. Bye.
Thank you, teacher.
Bye. Bye.
Well, guys, welcome back. I hope that you had a nice discussion in your groups, talking about these 4 questions that we had in here. And this is a moment where you're going to share that information. As I told you, I'm going to check. What am I confusing tonight? I'm going to choose one of you to share your ideas. Let's start with group number 4. In group number 4, we had Brian, Lisette, and Mabel. So, Lisette, what can you tell us about your group?
Okay, sure. We think there are too many programs like soap operas, reality shows, game shows, and we think there aren't enough documentaries, maybe economic and nature programs. And in our country, we don't have programs about health, history, artificial intelligence, or quiz shows. And we would like to watch more interesting programs about, for example, art and music, education, history, economic, health, technology, because we think these programs would help people improve their skills and knowledge.
Okay, thank you very much. Group number 4 and Lisette, which was the one chosen for sharing those ideas. Excellent. Let's continue now with group number 2. We have Natalia, Sylvia, and William. Sylvia, what is the summary of your group?
Okay, we think TV show nowadays is bored because it's only narco traffic, violence, comedy, and gossip programs. So we would like Colombia has more programs about education and nature, and maybe other types of programs like science fictions and etc.
Okay. Okay, very good summary. Well, this when you were starting the idea, you said the programs are boring. We will
Are
actually,
boring. Yes.
we will refresh our memory a little bit about that. Okay, Sylvia, thank you very much. And of course, group number 2. Let's go with group number 5. We have Jean-Claude, Johan Alberto, and Jose. Jean-Claude, what is the summary of your group, please?
Okay, teacher. For us in Colombia, there are too many programs about drama and programs about reality shows like El Desafío, Protagonistas de Novela, and many autobiographic novels. In Colombia, there aren't enough programs under the series format, like a chapter every week. In Colombia, there aren't enough programs about criminal stories and science. Definitely in Colombia, we don't have programs about science fiction. And finally, we will change the content of public channels for more modern formats such as series and more cultural sports and science content. We think that this content will be more creativity. We will have more content creative. Yes.
Creative content.
Creative content. Yes.
Okay. Jean-Claude and group number 5. Thank you very much. Group number 1, we have Andres, Elkin, Gerson, and Keiner. Keiner, what will be the summary of your group?
Okay. In Colombia, there are too many programs like how the partner say, reality shows, game shows, soap operas, and I think talent shows. And in Colombia, there aren't enough programs like nature programs or sport programs or cookery programs. There are only one program about cookery, and it's a type of reality. We don't have programs in Colombia like murder mysteries or weather forecast, only in the news. And we don't have documentaries.
Okay. Ah, wait, somehow you had already managed to include the information of number 4 in the previous answers. Okay, now keep in mind the pronunciation of enough. And for some of you guys, this final combination of letters, let me see, let me make sure that you can see enough. Because we think that it is like G, like enough or something like that. No, it always sounds like F, enough. And nature, just in case. Okay, last but not least, we have group number 3. We have Andres Felipe, Julian, and Yesit. Julian, could you share your summary, please?
Well, for us in Colombia, there are too many programs like soap and opera and reality shows. There aren't enough programs like documentaries or programs more than education, economic, like this. Is the same question, is almost the same question for the 3, that we don't have programs like this. We haven't programs and we haven't education programs. We don't have education programs. How would you like to change to be on radio in your country? We think that the TV in this country is too much amarillista, no sé qué palabra ¿es la misma palabra en inglés?
In that case, it's more like tabloid.
Tabloid, okay.
More like tabloid.
Most tabloid and
let me check on
manipuladora. So,
manipulative. That is transparent. That is a good thing.
okay.
Okay, that would be, also, well, in this case, we were talking about the adjectives. So amarillista is better to use sensationalist. Although tabloid is also in the category, but I think that sensationalist suits better the idea. Okay, group number 3, thank you very much. Well, guys, thank you, of course, for sharing your ideas. I hope that everybody participated. You have noticed that when I send you to work in breakout rooms, I never visit you. I want you to feel more comfortable during those moments. In case that you need me, of course, let me know or call me, let's put it like that, and I will go to your groups, of course. But that's my intention, that maybe you don't feel the pressure like I am always like listening to you. You can share a little bit, let's say, freely with your classmates in this type of activities. Well, guys, going back in here, some of your answers talking about the shows were about descriptions. For example, group number 4 was talking about the importance of including interesting programs, right? Group number 2 was talking about how boring those, let's say, NARC programs are, right? Group, for example, to continue with the same line, group number 5 was talking about the importance of including more modern and more cultural shows. And those descriptions are very important because at the end of the day, we have an opinion about every show that we watch. I'm going to show you the next slide, guys. That is the next exercise that we have on the book. I just put the pictures in here, so it is easier for us to do the activity, because on the book, then I would have to be moving the page back and forth the whole time. Let's have a look at these 2 pictures that we have in here. What kinds of programs are the people watching? For example, if we look at picture let's say picture number 1, that is the first picture that we have in here. What kind of program is that one, Brian?
Yes, teacher, where is the question? Sorry.
Sure. I'm asking about, well, looking at this picture, let's say that this is the first picture. What kind of program is it?
I think sport and comedy.
Sports and comedy? I, let's
No,
keep it. Hmm.
I don't know how is this word? Mm, belleza.
Like beauty, like related to beauty?
Yes, I think.
Okay, well, let's focus on the TV that they have, That's the one. So I wanna take your first answer, Brian, talking about sports. Very good. What about the second picture? Jessit, what type of TV show is this?
Is about horror.
Looks like a horror one, right? Related to that type of genre. Now, we were looking at the TVs, right? That was the idea on this exercise in particular. Now, what I want you to do is to look at the people, their reactions. In this case, I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to analyze the whole situation. I'm going to read the instruction for you. It's the second part here of the task. Let's call it like that. It says, complete the description with the adjectives in B. 8 says, the tennis match is very, the women are very, the children are, the film is, and you notice that on the second part says terrified, terrifying, exciting, and excited. I'm gonna give you actually 1 minute, okay? Remember, look at the pictures. Now we can also include the people, the reactions, plus, of course, what we have already analyzed on their TVs. And the idea is to match these two halves in order to have the complete descriptions of both situations. Okay? Guys, did you have any question about the instructions? Questions?
Oh, teacher, thank you.
Okay, just like some seconds for you to think of the proper way to describe the situations. 1 minute, we'll see. That was 1 minute. So, Andres Felipe Corredor, tell me number one, but tell me the complete sentence, not tell me 1D. No, tell me the whole idea.
Tennis match is excited, very excited.
Oh, well, no, the letter that I said was at random. It is not like I was telling you the answer. No, the one that you have, Andres. I don't want to confuse you. That's the answer that you had?
It is the tennis match is very excited.
C or D? Like your answer,
Okay.
Andres.
I say D.
You think D. Let me ask Johan Alberto. Johan, you agree or disagree with Andre Felipe?
Teacher, and I don't know because and I think for me exciting.
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 Okay. Actually, that is what we're going to review in a few moments. So yes, in the case of number 1 is C. So the complete sentence would be, the tennis match is very exciting. So how sentence number 2 would be? William.
The women are very excited.
Woman or women? Woman or women,
Women.
sorry. The women. Very good. That's the idea. Let's have a look at number 3. Mavely.
The children are terrified.
Very good. So that means that what is the combination? Let's put it like that for number 4, Jose.
The film is terrifying.
That would be it. Very good. Well, guys, that is actually the idea of tonight. Remember that when we started our unit 7, I was telling you that one of the grammatical components of the night precisely, let me put the zoom in here, was talking about ed and ing adjectives. When we are talking about this type of adjectives, we respect the original idea. First of all, let's refresh our memory. Guys, when we talk about adjectives, what is their general idea? What is their function? All the adjectives that exist, what do they do? Like Spanish from primary school. That's the idea, to describe. So let's not forget that that's like the most important function. And specifically to describe or people or animals or situations or places, like the technical name in terms of grammar would be nouns. We know there are adjectives like beautiful, ugly, necessary, but there is this special group, that has 2 endings, ed and ing, which are the ones that we're going to, I'm going to say study tonight, but I know that you already know about them. Let's start with the first group, the group that finishes with ed. When we say this type of adjective, it is basically referring to something in particular. Could be about a feeling or about an emotion. So the first idea, feelings or emotions. Second, feelings and emotions are related to temporary things. We are not bored forever, right? Or we are not interested forever. It is just a momentary situation. And because we're talking about feelings and emotions, these type of adjectives are used to describe only people or animals. That is something very important to keep in mind, guys. Only for living things, okay? For example, I can say that my friend is bored. What it means is that that person is feeling bored in the moment, right? Or I can say that I am confused. That means that in this moment, I can say that there is something that I don't understand. But what happens with the 2 ideas? The person maybe is bored in this moment, but maybe in few hours the person is happy, or the person is confused, but then the person gets an explanation, the person reads, and then this idea of feeling confused will disappear eventually. So that is the idea when we have these adjectives that finish with ed. Keep in mind, guys, first of all, talking about feelings and emotions. That means that we can use them only for living things. That means talking about people and animals. And because they are related to feelings and emotions, they are temporary, okay? That is the idea. Once again, the first question, guys, that I asked you was, what is the idea or the function of the adjectives? Because I don't want you to confuse them with the verbs in past simple and the verbs in past participle. They are a completely different thing. Okay, so please, let's not confuse verbs with adjectives. It may be obvious once again, but adjectives give us a description. The verbs talk about actions. So keep in mind that although they finish with ed, they are not actions, they are descriptions. For the moment, I haven't talked about ing, I know, But for the moment, this idea, do you have any questions? Edie?
No.
Okay. Okay, so keep in mind, only for people with living things. Now we have the second group, which is, related to this suffix that is ing. This is more flexible, you know, because when we are using the adjective that finishes with ing, we're talking about a general characteristic. So first of all, this characteristic would be for long term. And the case in this moment in particular is that when they finish with ing, we can use them with any noun that we want. Could be for animals, could be for people, for places, for objects, etc. Okay? ing doesn't have a restriction compared to ed. Remember, ed is for feelings and living things, people and animals. While the case of ing can cover whatever we want. And notice that we're talking about a characteristic that somehow it is more connected to a long-term situation. For example, I can say that my friend is boring. That means that that is a description that the person has. That every time that I meet the person, I'm gonna create more context. The person keeps talking and talking and talking, and the stories that the person say are like irrelevant. So for me, every time that I meet that person, the person is going to be boring. That's the characteristic that he or she has, and is a long-term characteristic compared to the previous one that the feeling is temporary. Or for example, I can say that I am confusing. Maybe all the information that I share doesn't make sense. So one person would consider that this characteristic applies because every time that the person speaks, says something that, you know, doesn't match like a situation that is being presented. For example, also when we're talking about a movie or what you were talking about in the previous exercise, guys, that you were saying that some TV shows are interesting. So that is a characteristic that for you, it remains forever. It doesn't matter how many times you watch that show, for you, it will always be interesting. So that is the difference between both of them. Keep in mind that ing can go for people and animals. It doesn't have restriction. So we gotta be careful what we are talking about, while ed only goes for living things, okay? Look at the examples. I can say my friend is boring or my friend is bored. I need the context, like it's just because in this moment the class doesn't look interesting, or it is because the person, as I was telling you in my example, always shares irrelevant information. We would always need the context to decide. Now we have the two types of adjectives. Remember that they anyway describe. That's their purpose at the end of the day. Questions, guys?
No, teacher.
No, teacher.
Okay, we're going to practice a little bit, of course, to, let's say, solidify the information as much as possible. And well, you may be noticing that probably this part is a little bit grammatical. There is one part of the exam, you know, the PET exam in the written part that you have to complete the text, you know, like there is one space and you have to choose among 4 possibilities. This is one of, well, of course, there are like a lot of types of questions in that part, but this is one of the most common, you know, like there is an adjective and you have to choose the correct form of the adjective. And then you have to decide, for example, if it is ed or ing. So it's also like relevant on that type of exercise. Yes, you know, unfortunately, it takes a lot of time, you know, it's really long, like 15 points. So these grammatical things actually lead us, you know, to improve that part of the exam. I hope that next time it will be better for you. Well, guys, first exercise, as you can imagine, you have to decide if the statement finishes with ed or ing. it's very important that you read the whole statement. Remember that the context plays an important role in here. If we only read like the two possibilities, then we wouldn't have like, let's say, a robust context, once again, to decide what to choose. There are 5 statements. I'm gonna give you guys 4 minutes, okay, to analyze the situations. In all the statements, only one possibility is correct in terms of grammar. There are no like, maybe this works because blah, blah, blah. Only one is correct, okay? Questions about the instructions?
No, teacher.
Okay, and after this, of course, we will check and we will play a Kahoot. 4 minutes starting now. Okay, guys, time's up. Let's see your answers. Let's see how much we can share. Let's see if you are available. Andres Correa. Could you read number 1, please? Well, he told me he was having issues, but that's okay. Then I'm gonna just sit.
Okay, teacher, I'm feeling tired. So I am going to go home and go to bed early with a good book.
Very good. Tired. That would be the first one. That's it. Very good. William, what about number 2?
Okay, teacher. This math problem is so confusing. Can you help me?
Absolutely. Excellent. What about number 3, Sylvia?
The journey was exhausting, 12 hours by bus.
That would be it. Very good. Natalia, number 4, please.
Okay, teacher. I was really embarrassed when I fell over in the street.
Very good. And we finish with number 5, Mabel.
That film was so depressing. There was no happy ending for any
Characters. Very good. So in some cases, probably, let's say the hint are things like, for example, feeling. We already know that feelings are connected with ED. In other cases, because we already established that it is only for living things, like the case of number 2. And the case of number 3, we're talking about a math problem and we're talking about a journey. Those are things they can't feel. In case of number 4, that we are talking about embarrassing, remember that when we're talking remember that when we are talking about people, could be with ing, but once again, we need the context. In this case, the people or the person in particular was feeling really bad. It is not like the person always behaves like that. It was just like a momentary feeling. And well, the case of number 5, similar to number 2 and number 3. Guys, any questions from this exercise?
No,
Yes, teacher, in 5 sentences. I didn't understand why is the person and not the person.
But notice that 5 says depressing. Could you repeat your question? Sorry.
I didn't understand why the answer is the person. I think it's the person.
Because in this case, we're talking about the movie. I'm providing a description of that thing. It's an object.
Okay. Sure. Thank you.
Welcome. Very good. Yeah, different if I'm talking about how the movie made me feel, but in this case, it's only about the movie. Okay, good. Well, guys, as I was telling you, we have a Kahoot pending. It's about the same topic and different probably from the previous exercise. We won't have like a lot of time to analyze all the situations. As you already know, usually we only have like 20 seconds. So in this case, you have to analyze it a little bit faster. So I'm gonna share the sound as well. I hope that most of you can take part of the game. I'm gonna give you like a minute. Ten people. out of 17, 16. Well, let's give a couple of seconds. There should be 15 people at least. Bueno, la cuenta repetida, la persona que me dijo que tenía problemas, los que no se conectan es porque ya se fueron de paseo a Semana Santa entonces. And that means that the attendance has to be adjusted. José, Andrés, Corredor, William, Lisette, Jean-Claude, Silvia, Gerson, Yesid, Brian, Julián, Johan, Mabel, Keiner, and Natalia. Are we waiting for someone? There you are. Pretty much the same idea. Be careful with the spelling, guys. You know that it can be tricky sometimes. Careful with the spelling. Well, and careful with the collocation. In this case, is how you feel. Let's say like the general idea is talking about the person wants to work for a charity. I am interesting, that means that you consider yourself like a person that always shares relevant information, like saying that you are interesante, right? And
Yes.
notice the idea of the statement. It doesn't match in this case. Yes, sorry?
Yeah, could you share your screen, please?
I'm not sharing my
And
screen.
No, teacher.
no, teacher. I am
teacher.
looking your
Sorry.
On the
PowerPoint.
presentation. Mhm. Thank you, teacher.
Thank you.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Yes, I was telling you, well, some of you share, excuse me, shows interested, which was the correct one. But some of you also had interesting. Remember, ing talks about a characteristic that is permanent. And also the idea of being interesting is that you always like talk about important things, relevant information. And based on this context, the person actually just wants to take part of this event. Right, let's continue practicing. Excellent, Keiner. Boring, very good. Remember that when we are talking about things, for example, in this case, the statement begins with it. It immediately means that we are talking about the ing version. Of course, unless we're talking about an animal. We already talked about the living things. But if it is an object, or if it is not an animal, then it has to be described with an adjective that finishes with ing. There is no other possibility. Okay, Keiner is still on top. It's missing. I am very excited. Once again, notice that says am, that it starts telling us that we're talking about the feeling, well, usually, of course, and the context. That means that you are very happy about that. Okay. What you did is really Notice what the statement says. What you did. In this case, we're focusing on the action, you know? Once again, in this case, we're talking about something. That is why we use ing. We are not telling that the person in particular is disappointed. It's not a feeling that the person has. In this case, I'm describing an action that took place. That is why it goes with ing. Okay, I wasn't expecting that. William, now you're number 1. Entertaining. Notice that in this case, the adjective is describing horror book. The horror book doesn't have any feeling. That is why we can't use ing, but well, it's a good change here in the statistics. Okay. It. I work too much. It's really tiring. Very good. Remember, guys, it would most of the times refer to an object. And it always goes with ing. No more to say. Careful with the spelling. We, Julian. Okay. A frightening. Once again, what we are describing in this case is the experience, the situation. Okay, Jose. Interesting this Kahoot tonight. It is shocking again. Remember, it is going to be your point of reference. In some cases, of course, trying to find that rule that is going to help us to to discover the adjective that corresponds. Okay, very good. The feeling, I mean, I don't have to expand on that. Well, in this case, what the spelling, you know, that was the tricky part. Notice how embarrassed was like written here. This is the correct spelling of embarrassed. Double R and double S. So technically, like you were right in terms of choosing the one that finishes with ED, but careful with the spelling, okay? Sorry. Okay, good. Excited, very good. The feeling of the person. Amazing, absolutely. Notice that we're talking about an event, the reception. It is an object, nothing else to say. Very good. We're please talking about the feeling. Usually, the verb to be would relate to the feeling. Usually, you know, I can't tell you like all the time compared to when we're talking about objects that we know that 100% of the times it's going to be described with ing, but most of the time verb to be would lead to that type of description. So to finish, eat. The tricky part was the spelling. One more time, the present goes with double S. And guys, careful. If it begins with it, you already know objects. Oh my God. Final question, no mistakes. Look at the second statement. That's the key point. John is confused. As I was telling you guys, the second sentence was like, you know, the one which was telling us what to choose. Because it says he doesn't know what he wants to do. I mean, the person is like puzzled. Different would be if it says, I don't get any of his ideas. Then that means that the guy is confusing. But in this case, he just is like on a crossroad, like we saw the other day. So that is why in this case he's confused. And well, careful with the spelling. Okay, let's see the winners. Jean-Claude, okay. Lisette, excellent. Also, very good. We also have the runners-up, Sylvia and William as well. Okay, guys, any questions, any statement in particular that you want to check one more time? Let me, in the meantime, stop sharing sound. Questions? Okay. Well, guys, let's talk about one administrative corrective, let's call it like that thing that we have to do. Remember that I told you. I know that I'm not sharing the screen. In this moment, I know. I was telling you that we will, let's say, develop the speaking part a little bit differently compared to what you were used to do with Professor Laura Daniela. You already know that on the second part of our session, number 10, we will have the speaking part. And I told you that in my case, let's say my, I don't know, dynamic, what I do is that I let you choose the people you will be working with. And I had already, let's say, showed you this format. For the moment, you couldn't make any type of additions. Let's say that officially, now you can actually edit it. As I was telling you, the idea, guys, is that for you, you write down your names, you know? That is basically the intention. Some of you probably already like working with certain people. That's okay. Some of you don't really care, and that's fine, you know? As I was telling you, it doesn't mean that the people who write their names in on the first line, you know, the first group, sorry, that means that they are going to be group number 1 to present the speaking part. In my case, this is just like to organize my ideas to know how many groups I have. The minimum is 2 participants per group. Remember that the first part, it's like individual, and the second part is collaborative. Anyway, keep in mind that the grades are individual. In case that you may be worried that you end up working with a person that, I don't know, I don't think that happens to you, like you don't like any of your classmates or something like that. But just like to clarify, the grades will always be individual. I'm gonna send you the link, although the link is also on the presentation that I shared with you after our first class for you to start deciding. So you have today and also you have tomorrow. Tomorrow, Friday, well, you know that then we, let's say, stop our course and then we go on holiday until Easter Monday. I don't remember when Easter Monday is, the 10th, I guess, Lunes de Pascua. It's the 10th, right? Yes. Then on the 10th, we would continue our course like regularly. Guys, what I'm going to do tomorrow at the end of the session is that I am going to look here at this chart. And if I see that some of you haven't like written your name, I'm going to like put you, let's say, arbitrarily in any of the groups. The idea that we go on holidays with the information of which would be the people you will be working with during the speaking part. I know that the speaking part is on the 13th. It looks like in 2 weeks, and actually it is in 2 weeks. But as I told you, I want you like to know from the very beginning the people you will be working with, okay? Guys, I would like to know, you have any question about this part? And just my crazy mind. Questions? For the moment, Johan already shows group number 3, Jessit number 2, Gerson and Kane in 4. Perfect. Yeah, guys. I don't want you to feel worried or pressured. I'm gonna say something that it could be crazy, you know? Let's say that tomorrow nobody has written their name in group 3 or in group 8. Then I rearrange the groups because once again, there can't be a person working individually. Remember, guys, I'm taking the link that is already on the section of materials. Also, remember that on this same folder, you have the rubric. I know that you already know it almost like by heart, but just in case, if you want to check it one more time. Okay, guys, questions?
No, teacher.
Okay. Well, guys, while you write down your names, well, compared to yesterday, today we have finished a few minutes earlier. As usual, thanks for your attention. Guys, don't forget to work on the virtual campus. Have you already started working in Moodle, guys? Yes or no?
Teacher,
Yes. Tell me. I only heard teacher. Maybe you said yes or no.
Teacher, bueno, ya que no preguntaron, ay, a mí se me pasó hacer la actividad de ayer. ¿Será que podría hacerla si la hago ahorita?
It already closed.
Y dale, profe, no pasa nada.
Sorry. Yeah, guys, keep that information in mind. Why? Some of you didn't finish it? Besides you? How many people didn't do it? I haven't checked. I only closed it. I have to be honest. That's all what I did. Because you said, bueno, ya que nadie preguntó, como quien dice, al parecer era una pregunta general. Well, hopefully it doesn't affect your grades that much. Well, guys, as I was telling you, thank you very much. Don't forget to start working on the virtual campus. Ideally, you should have already finished units 5 and 6. Se supone que ya deberían haber terminado las unidades 5 y 6 del campus virtual. Se supone. But I know that you are really busy, guys. Don't wait till the end.
I have a question.
Sure.
The campus closing after Semana Santa.
Yes, yeah, because our final class would be on the 13th, right? So in that sense of ideas, the 13th would be the final day. And guys, just like to refresh your memory, keep in mind that we only have one, let's say, vacation day, let's put it like that, compared to the other cycles. We only have Friday as free day, let's put it like that, because then on Monday, we will be starting B1.3. So we actually can't give you guys more days to work on the virtual campus or maybe working on the development of the project because we have to give the grades during that, let's say, working day. So eventually the information is on the system to start on that Monday. But I'm just repeating information that I'm sure that you already know, guys. But keep that in mind, okay? Yeah, guys, any other question?
No, teacher.
Okay, guys, once again, thank you very much. Tomorrow we'll see once again how the chart was completed. And that will be all for this week. Have a good night, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, teacher.